anything, we need to have definitions. So short video about definitions of matrices. So matrix is a rectangular array of numbers or functions. So numbers or functions that we'll put in brackets. So like this. So here are examples of matrices. These numbers or functions are called entries or elements of the matrix. Yeah. There are of course rows. So here we have 2 rows, 3 columns. Okay. So those are the rows and the columns of the matrices. If they have as many rows as columns, then they're called square matrices. Notation for entries, so A2 comma 3 is the row 2 and third column. So for example, A2 comma 3 is this element because it's the second row and the third column. Okay? And this is standard, can be used for square or rectangular matrices. Special vectors are special cases. So vectors are special cases of matrices. So those which have, so a matrix which has just a single column or a single row is called a column vector, or a row vector, row vector. So in this case, so for example, if I have just a row vector 1, 5, 6, then the third element is this one. So if you have A1, A2, A3, the third element is A3. Notation for matrices will be capital boldface letters, so letters like this, or you can write braces, parentheses, and write the elements within it. So AJK, which means it's a collection of all elements of the form AJK, then written within parentheses. If I write a M by N matrix, then that means M rows, N columns. M by N is the size of the matrix, also called the dimension of the matrix. So AMN is, you can write it like, so a matrix capital A, I can write it like this. It basically looks like A11 up till AMN. And so this is the row number, this is the column number. In particular, the diagonal elements will be quite important. So for example, in this case, these are the diagonal elements. So AMN would be the diagonal element. A11, A22 up till AMN. These would be the diagonal elements of a square matrix. So only square matrices have diagonal elements. Well, rectangular matrices also have diagonal elements, but they look weird, right? So suppose you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It does have these two diagonal elements, but we commonly only reference diagonal elements in square matrices. All right. Anything else? Yeah, vectors. So the components of the vector. So as we already said, these are components of a row vector. These are components of column vector. And again, we'll write vectors as boldface lowercase letters. So example over here, it's a boldface lowercase letter. And again, it'll be like this. Braces or parentheses around lowercase non-boldface letters, denoting the elements of the vector. Okay, just notation. And that's it for this video.